say. So what are they doing right now? Yeah, what are they doing right now? Just what are they doing right now?
Afterlife, Part 1. We all leave the story before we find out how it turns out for the remaining characters. They pretty well filled that church when he died, I tell you that, my uncle said at Grandpa's funeral. Another uncle wrote in a letter, when Dad died, it was a sad day. Lots of friends, and after the funeral we went to the Legion, bellied up to the bar, and toasted a salute to our great father. My Uncle Dave went into the service shortly after and returned 2 years after his father's death. In need of a loan for a car, Uncle Dave went to the bank in Thorpe. While filling out the paperwork with the usual loan officers, one of the higher-ups in this small-town bank walked past and recognized my uncle. "Hi, Dave," he said. "What are you doing here?" "I'm trying to get some money to buy a car," Uncle Dave said. The banker looked at the loan officer and said, "This is Mike Teclaw's son. You get him whatever he needs, and put away that paperwork. He doesn't need to fill out any of that." Had I heard that story sooner, I may have tried it the last time I was at the bank for a loan. I could have stared at the loan officer from across the desk and said, "Put away that paperwork. I don't need to fill out any of that. I'm Mike Teclaw's grandson." But times change, of course, and people move on. Afterlife, Part 2. A half-century after Grandpa's death, my family and I were driving home past Thorpe on Memorial Day. We decided to stop at the cemetery. Several of my relatives are buried there, including all of my grandparents. As we walked towards my grandparents' grave, an elderly woman smiled and asked, "Do you need help finding anybody?" "Nope," I said. "I've got the Teclaws right here and the Symanskis right over there." "Teclaws, huh? Are you related to a Teclaw?" "I'm Mike and Verna's grandson," I said. "Well, that means we're second cousins," she said. We worked out the details. Her mother was my grandpa's sister. This woman, Cousin Emily, was 98 years old, sharp-minded, and remarkably independent. "Did you know Mike?" I asked. "Oh, yes. He was a wonderful man. He was the kindest, most gentle man you'll ever meet." After I explained my interest in learning more about him, she said, "You know, I have some letters of his I've been meaning to get to your aunt and uncles. Ones he wrote to my mother during the war." After some detective work, she located 2 letters, both written overseas during World War I by my grandfather to his sister. This first is from a resting camp in England, dated July 21st, 1918. He sounded like he was in great spirits, talking about how England's countryside, with its farms and fields, looked much like Wisconsin's. He assured his sister, "Do not worry, I'm coming back when everything is over here." He did admit that the boat ride across the ocean was miserable, with several soldiers experiencing seasickness. I did not like that boat ride at all. I wish I could see land every day. At last we landed. Then, after wondering how Columbus made it across the ocean, he casually tucked in a question about the woman he'd eventually marry. "Did you hear from Vernie lately?" He ended with, "Best wishes with love. I am your brother Mike." The second letter was written on Palm Sunday from France much later. It's a homesick letter. The word home is mentioned 14 times in the 4 small handwritten pages. When armistice was signed, I thought I'd be home for Easter, and I'm still in France. That another sad Easter for me. Nobody knows or realizes how I feel today. A home with a good mother and father is worth more than millions to me now. He went on, vowing to never forget the value of home, along with concerns for his brother, who seemed to have lost his way. When I was leaving home and the rest of you sisters and brothers, I didn't think that I'd feel as bad about home as I did today. Brother Joe, he doesn't think of home much, but if he was in my place, he would learn some lesson, and that is what he needs. When you ever see him, give him this letter to read it. I could never stay away from home long. And I'm surprised to hear that Joe has left home in August and worked in those camps. I suppose he has a lot of lice too, which all the lumberjacks have. And it's not needed for him to work in camps. There is lots to do at home. I worked in camp myself, but it was different then. You understand yourself how it was in those days. As the letter comes to a close, he had no idea he was writing the words that would be reread nearly a century later by his future children and grandchildren, becoming, in effect, his new last words. Best regards to all, and wishing you all good luck and good health, and hope the days will come soon that I could see you all in good health and in the best condition. I am your loving brother, Mike Teclaw. Also, do not forget to send my best regards to parents at home. Goodbye. Sitting in France, he had no idea how it would all turn out. But this moment may show where some of the motivation came to help build a community, build a family, build a home. Compared to the millions who died in World War I, Mike Teclaw was one of the lucky ones. He would survive. And he would not only survive, he would do all the simple things impossible to imagine in those war-weary moments. Making it home, finding work, getting married, having children, overcoming tough times, celebrating it all, and in the end, having some grandkids excited to follow him around. In other words, a small fortune was waiting to be built. Across the ocean, near a small Wisconsin town, under a country sky as blue as his eyes and as wide as his young, unstoppable heart. Thanks for coming out tonight. We'd love to have you sing along with us on this last one. The lyrics are on your board.
I was standing by my window on a cold and cloudy day when I saw that first come rolling for to carry my mother away. a better home waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by, there's a better home waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. There's a better home waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
Derick Black on acoustic guitar and vocals. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Stick around, we still got beer in the coolers, cheese curds in the back. Thank you. One more time.
That's it. We're going to stop by.